Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Women's View. Well, for the last 2 weeks, we have been talking about the youth, and one thing that came out clear is that the young generation is able to do more, best for quickly handling the critical situations, decision makings. But is this applicable in all walks of life? Can they really fit into others? Well, today we talk about another serious topic, but before I tell you what that is, let me introduce to you our panels. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, 하발 이제는.
Zorisana.
Okay, nice to meet you. May I have your name, please?
Thank you. My name is Lindy Wafula. I'm a young leader in Kenya, and currently I'm serving as the Women's Congress leader of the Labour Party of Kenya.
So can I call you
Lindy.
Lindy, okay,
Yes.
Lindy. Okay, nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet
You call yourself a young leader of Kenya, so I think it's a very good title.
I believe that is what we need to be now.
Yes, yes. Today, you please involve our youngsters to participate in our politics for this country.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Your name, please?
Good morning. I'm Jane Wangeshi Kagiri from Laikipia County, and I'm a young politician aspiring to become the women representative Laikipia County. Yeah.
Welcome to Women's View.
Yeah.
I think we should, as women, we have something, right? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay, nice to meet you. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Pastor Song Kim. I'm right now working as a missionary in Malawi.
Malawi.
Yes.
So you are from South Korea, right?
Yes, I'm from South Korea.
But I feel like
But not a woman.
he doesn't look like Korean.
Yeah.
Okay, so like how long have you been in Africa?
It's my 7th year, but I was my first year I spent my time in Togo, West Africa,
Okay.
as a volunteer, and I stayed in Kenya for about 3 years, and then in 2009 I moved to Malawi.
Wow,
It's my
so
3rd year now.
you've been very long time in Africa.
Yes.
So okay, nice to meet you. So Sophie, how are you? Today you are so red. I think you are influenced by yesterday girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people think that the youth entering politics is like a small boy or girl entering into slum area to clean that area. Well, today we want to prove the theory right or wrong as we talk about youth and politics. And as usual, you are welcome to be part of the discussion. And we ask, do you think the youth should involve themselves in politics? Do you think the youth should involve themselves in politics? Send your comment to 8550 and be part of the show. Remember to tell us your name and location. I really want to know your name. As well as we will sample some of them, some of the text at the end of the show. Okay, so afterwards, some people, they will send SMS to our show. Maybe they will ask us many questions, I think, many people. Because I feel, even myself, I feel like politics, politics very far. I don't know even my country politics exactly. So in order to talk about this, actually I studied about Kenya's politics. I could see that now they really want to work all the people together, right? They don't want to just lead, country by themselves, something like that. I was so shocked because after independence from England, 1963,
Sure.
right? After that, we had only 3 presidents, right?
Yes.
I think it was really shock. I was like, for many years, only 3 presidents. What's wrong with this? I was thinking like that. So, but these days, it cannot be like that again. And they really want to involve many people, especially, I think if youngsters, they have exact knowledge of politics, it will be very good for this country. I think so. And last week, we were talking about youngsters, youth, they make a lot of problems, troubles, but this week, again, we are talking about youth. We have some way to lead them. So maybe as a leader, as a young leader of this country, maybe you can say about youth.
I think one of the things that I want to put clear is that the participation of the youth of Kenya in politics has always been looked unto as a people. Youth only come in to be used to heckle, to jeer, to cheer, those who want to run for office. But with the new dispensation of the Constitution, we are saying clearly that the Constitution of Kenya has made it clear that the youth, people between the ages of 18 and 35, have to participate actively, have to engage actively in politics. And they have to seek to represent their own views, their own opinion, and their interests. So when we look at the past, we see that many other times when the youth were in the periphery, what I will call the periphery, we will only wait others to be on the fore, and then we follow them. But then we are coming out strongly as the youth of Kenya now saying we want to be on the fore, we want to be in the core circle and be a part of making change in Kenya.
I feel like Kenya will be best country soon, right? You know, yesterday in Facebook I saw one picture and I was laughing along. I don't mention the country name, but they compare some congressmen, like a politician, two politicians, both of them are women. And one was very old and very ugly, fat woman was sitting. And then other country, that I can mention, Italy, that politician is like hot looking, you know, very pretty and doing like this and, you know, and their meant was, that is why we are not interested in this country's politics. They mentioned like that. You know, I can see clearly that youngsters, if, you know, you cannot attract youngsters, they will never involved in politics. You know, this is a kind of example. So what do you think of it? Do you think Kenya youngsters are participating in politics very well?
Let me first start by appreciating the new constitution that we currently have. Because initially what used to happen, they had given the age limit of getting into politics at the age of 35, which means it's when you have already gotten out of your youth, especially vying for the presidential seat. So many youth always assumed that those were positions never meant for them. And for you to get somewhere, you have to begin somewhere. So they would assume it's until you get to that age that you can actually start vying for a position. However, I also think as a youth, we have lost it or not following back on the history of this country. Because if we look at the current leaders we have, the president we have currently got into politics at the age of 29. We look at the late Minister Michuki, got into public service at the age of 25.
Wow.
We have a former minister, Simeon Nyachai, got into public service at 22. We got Dr. Sally Kosgei, the vice president. All these people got into politics at very young age. So I don't understand what happened along the way, that it so happened that youth should no longer be in politics, yet all these people have been in politics. So what I'm grateful is that now the constitution actually has put it that we can actually get into politics. And so far, the youth who have been given positions are actually proving that it's possible to happen. We recently saw the TNA launch, which was actually behind the scenes. It's the youth who did it, and it was something that was very nice. In my own party, I'm in a party called GNU. We completed the recruitment nationally. Our GNU national coordinator is a young lady aged 35.
Wow.
And she's the one who did all that, and we emerged as the fourth party to completely register in this country. So I'm telling you, the youth given a chance can actually deliver.
But I'm sorry to interject, but I'm looking at what Noah said in the beginning. We've only had like 3 presidents ever since we got independence. And with that meaning, like when someone goes, like gets a seat in parliament or anything, they want to stay there. No one wants to get out of it. Like even I myself want to go into that. No one will give me a chance to get into it. We're not saying that the youth, they don't want to. They don't have a chance to get into that. Now, look at it, like when you have to vote, the youth are saying that people, you're just supposed to vote, or you're supposed to carry banners for these politicians, or you're just supposed to make noise and just shout for them to get there. But once they get there, what they're supposed to do for us on the ground is not done. And they don't want to get out of that place.
Sure.
Remember, the Kenyan politics is a mess, like really a mess. Tell me if a 35-year-old can go and work out something that a 47-year-old hasn't done. Is it possible? Like, are the youth in a place, like in a state where they can really clean up the mess in politics in the first place?
Well, I believe we can, and we have showed that we can. This is my perspective, that if we're looking into building a nation. And I am a believer in a leadership that starts from the bottom up. I am a believer of initiatives and development that is initiated from the grassroots level to the national level, which means looking back at the people who are doing a lot of grassroots initiatives are the youth and alongside the women. But if we look at the youth and give them the opportunity of saying, look at the talents that the youth have, look at the skills that they have, and look at the knowledge they have. Look at how much right now, if we have to think of technology, that most of the youth in Kenya are the ones who are using technology in various ways to just be able to express themselves. If we look into that, and then again, comparing it on the basis of just what you have said, that there are people who come into leadership, into positions of power, and they don't want to transition, and yet keep on telling us, the youth, that you are leaders of tomorrow. That is why we are coming boldly now with the strength of the new constitution as the youth of Kenya, saying enough is enough. The constitution of Kenya now gives us the mandate, the opportunity, the space for the youth of Kenya to raise their voices. But we want to do this with maturity. We don't want to participate in hooliganism. That is what has been put as our space as youth in politics, that we should be hooligans. We don't want to be hooligans anymore. We don't want to be used to instigate any violence associated with politics and elections. We want to participate as leaders because we believe we have what it takes. And we have showed it from our grassroots initiatives, being leaders of community-based organizations, being leaders. Many youth right now, like myself, I will say I have started from my own household. I lost my parents to HIV when I was 14. And I raised my family as a head of a household. I said, I will not let my brothers and my sisters, my family to disintegrate. And because I put my family together, I moved forward from the family setting, the grassroots, the least position at the bottom of the grassroots, to the next level of the community, working with the women, empowering the women, and mentoring the youth. And now I'm going a level higher and telling my community in Makadara, where I'm also running for a member of parliament in the coming election, I'm saying, I believe I have what it takes to represent you in parliament to make policies that will help shape Makadara.
I think
you're putting it so well. So well, and I think most politicians have it just the same way like one of you has it. But what happens when like they're there? What happens? All we can see, and I think that this is the reason why Kenyan youth, they don't really care much about politics, because all you can see is that he did this, he did this, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done this, he was here, he said this. There's no development. There's nothing that catches like the attention of a country like in a development way. So I'm looking at it, if a country is supposed to develop, if a youth is supposed to develop a country in a political way, is it possible? Like, do they have a choice?
Sorry, let me interject and say, that's why the new constitution has come to our salvation, and forgive me for the cold. But what has happened is, like, for the governor candidates and the presidential candidates, now the constitution limits them to a maximum of 2 terms.
Oh.
To that, let me also add and say that politics is not a journey for the faint-hearted. Myself being a youth, when I began, nobody believed in me. I declared my candidature in last year, February, and I have kept going. It has not been easy. So what I would like to encourage fellow youth is to tell them, this is not a journey for the faint-hearted. You begin it and you have to keep going. Don't let anybody pull you down. There's this analogy I always use. When you decide you're making a journey, and you decide you're leaving Nairobi to go to Thika, nothing will make you alight before you get to Thika. But why in our lives do we allow people to tell us where to alight? For example, for me, I have decided I'm vying for women representative, Laikipia County, to change the status of Laikipia County. Why should I allow anybody to tell me you're too young? That's make me alight before I get to my destination. So similarly, let us all get into this knowing it is not going to be easy. Nobody will ever hand you a seat. Can we first accept that? We have to get out there and fight it out.
When I see like this, actually, frankly speaking, I have a little bit negative side toward youth and politics together. But when I see your opinion, your you know how I say, your plan, something, your perspective, like we have a hope because many people, young people, they are working for this country. Maybe we can have very good result. But actually, I really want to ask one thing to Pastor. Maybe as a foreigner, but you've been in Africa quite a long time, maybe you also, even though you didn't try to have interest in politics, but unknowingly you might be involved in politics. I want to listen that story, so please be prepared because I want to call for one interview. So let's watch one interview.
So if in any case they are being given, it's like they are being forced. So it's supposed to be a calling. Yeah, something that's supposed just to come naturally. I think hiyo ndio inaweza kuwa comment yangu currently. We are not supposed to give them. Yeah, they're supposed to be given from, should I say, okay, it's supposed to be a natural occurrence. Yeah, that's from God. They'll only bring change if in any case they are not endorsed by any godfather. They were not brought there as in akushikwa mkono akiletwa pale. Yeah, it's supposed to be something God-given. Because first thing tumeona, like we've given it a try by the way. I would say somebody like Mike Sonko is a kijana. Somebody like Kitun. Is it Kitun? Kutun. He's also a kijana. And you see the way they're messing us up. Eh? They're not even representing what they're supposed, what took them there in the first place. So there are some stuff like, I will say that they're being forced to the position. So how I wish wakuje pale naturally.
Okay, my name's Tabu Charles. I'm a resident of this city. What I can say about the youth is that there's still frustration, even though the government is trying to come up with so many structures that can help lift the living standard of the youth and also see how they can create more business opportunities. Still in politics, they have been outplayed because of the financial position. Most of the youth, you find they have not invested enough so that they can come up and also put their policies on the table. Seriously, most of the Kenyans, they don't look at the policies of the politician. What they look at, how much they can be given. And this is something that we need to check on because a country cannot be run with people who have looted the public funds. Tomorrow becomes to be the leaders. The right leaders who can also give the better direction in terms of youths are the same youths who are being frustrated, and in terms of youth initiative projects that can empower them. So you find that the same white hair people are coming back and frustrating the same youths, and they want just to use the youths as the power baron to uplift their standards up. But when they're seeing the youths who are coming up, they're trying to dehorn them. So these are some of the things we need to check on in terms of the policies. Even though the Constitution have strengthened part of the gender, but has not even strengthened the part of the youths, whereby women have been given privileges in line of, and they have been enacted in the Constitution, but in line of youths has not been enacted. So the youths also still play with those people who are financially well equipped. And the looters of the previous government are the one controlling. If you look at, I don't want to mention names, the Y92 groups, the 2000 Anglo-Leasing group, are the one coming back. So we need just to check on all those elements so that we put the youths also on the same par with them. Yeah.
Kenyan people really, they know how to talk, If Korea, if they give interview like that, they will say, oh, politicians are all bad, that's all. They will not say concretely like that.
Kenyans are very angry when it comes to politics. Like that guy yesterday, he was almost just fighting as well. Like, okay, relax, just say it. I don't know, but I agree with almost everything he said.
Yeah, I don't know. They say right things, right?
I choose to disagree with initially where the first youth says that most of these youth are actually endorsed by politicians. Let me tell you, there's nothing further from the truth than that. Because what happens, and that is what has made most youth not to get out. Because the minute you get out as Jane Wangeshi Kagere, people will already start saying, a young lady cannot get out. There must be a brain behind it, or somebody pushing her. So what will happen to fellow young ladies? They will all fear and get back to their houses afraid that somebody will say that.
So personally, there's no one behind you?
Personally, there's no one behind me. In fact, let me, what I always put forward is, as long as I've been seated here, do I look like there's anybody telling me what to say?
No.
It is my brains. So similarly, when you get to the ground, it is your brains that have to work for you. Whether you're endorsed or not, at the end of the day, people will tell, is it really you or it's not you? That's what I would think.
Okay. And I think also on the same line, if we as the youth of Kenya will wait to be endorsed or to have the godfathers, we play tune to the music of the Godfathers.
Right.
And that is what we have seen in Parliament. You get a youth who is pulled from wherever position and not get that position on merit, then he will only work to serve his master.
Puppet.
Whoever endorsed him or whoever worked with him or pulled him from whatever position and said, now I want you here, because he also has his self-interest at heart and says, I want you here so that you can be able to probably do something for me. So what we are saying is that we want youth who will come from the grassroots, based on their merit, based on the work that they have done, and let them be elected because of the leader they are.
And who they are.
Yes.
Okay, I already asked a pastor. I want to listen from you. Maybe you can talk about how I mean, are you interested in politics of this Africa?
Well, it's an interest to everyone.
So, like, how did you?
Actually, it's a woman's view, so I'm just looking at the woman's view.
So you should be careful what you
Yes.
say.
But one thing that I really noticed is that there's youth. They have a potential, and they have creativeness, ideas they can put into this country. I don't think it's a big problem for the youth to be involved or to show their points of view, and to be a young leader, I don't see that as any problem. But one thing that we should keep in mind, we differentiate youth in this society by age, but we don't differentiate by minds of people. There can be politicians who saying that I'm a youth, but with potential and creativeness. But we need to look out for youngsters. Of course, as a mid-aged person, I would expect someone who has a potential to push things forward, can be a leader that can give us clear point of view, clear process, and also clear outcome. But at the end, youth will go for the youth. But if you look in the deeper point of view, one thing that we should worry about is that sometimes youth can be maybe unexperienced, or without much of experience, they will not have deeper thoughts. So actually from country where I come from South Korea, yes, there are youth leaders, but you will not see them doing politics. At least above, I believe above 40 or near 50s are the ones who are playing the major roles of government. You will not see any 30s, not 20s, no, I don't think anyone. So there's the respect that youngsters, that they show to our politicians. Of course, we all know that sometimes governments can play around with people, but yet still we know that the experience they have gone through and the minds that they have gone, it is differs from the points of view of youth. So I think that we should also think back, where do we differentiate the youth? Is it really the age that we have to differentiate them, or is it the minds? How much are they mature? If they are really mature enough to carry on the country,
regardless of age,
I think
that is a very good
I
source.
tend to think that if we are going to let that be our ideology, our belief of defining who a youth is, we will keep on propagating the tradition of patriarchy and men and women who keep on saying they are youth, even when they are 60 and 50 and doing nothing for Kenya. We have to come to a place right now in Kenya looking at just how many young people have gone to universities without jobs. Why do they send us to universities? Our fathers, our mothers, telling us that we know you will grow up one day to be leaders to take care of this country. When will that time come? We have got to be given an opportunity for us to showcase what it is we've gone to school for,
Yes. That's
to
right.
showcase the gifts and the talents that God has put in us, and with the belief that if this is positive, it is going to have better fruit for Kenya. But the problem is that we always look onto the negativity of and the fear. And you know, with fear, you can't go far. If we keep fear on the fore of saying that if we give opportunities to the youth in banking and business, if we give opportunities to the youth in agriculture, if we give opportunities to the youth in politics, the country will stall. we are being led by fear as opposed to being led by optimism and hope. I think what Kenya needs to be looking onto is a leadership of hope.
But
saying that we believe,
I think why people hang on to the age and the like such stuff is because of they think of like, the experience.
Yeah.
They look at the youth and they think you are not
young.
but where
experienced
are we
enough.
50 years
But you know
after independence? Where is Kenya? 50 years after independence, we still cannot be able to find water in our communities, and yet we've been having leaders who call themselves youth.
I think we need
because
to
of
be a little
age.
bit calm down, right? So let's have a short break. After that, we'll continue this what? Okay, we will burn again.
Yeah.
Okay, we are waiting for your story. You can give any opinion toward the youth and politics because we are here to listen to you. So please answer us. Really, do you think the youth should involve themselves in politics? Send your SMS to 8550. We'll be there after short break.
The 2012 World Camp in Kenya is now approaching and at your doorstep. Brought to you by the IYF and the Ministry of Youth are various adventures where your youthful mind can venture through, challenge your limits in, and discover joy in unity. It will be held at the headquarters of IYF, located next to USIU and behind Safari Park Hotel, beginning the 30th of July to August 4th. Act now for an early registration discount. Make sure to bring your fee and national ID card. Now is your time.
Mwaka ya kura imefika na sisi tuko hapa tena, tunashindwa ni nini tutafanya ili tusiwe na vita kama ya kura iliyopita ambayo ilikuja tena ikaleta shida, wengine wakikufa, DIs ikawacha, hata food ikawa magata na karent pia kakapanda. Amani ni atamani, singethabiti ni yaki, ustawi wa jamii. Watoto wetu, let us make this a better place. Kwa watoto wetu. Amani ni longi, amani ni longi, amani ni longi, amani ni longi. Askari njoni pamoja tushirikiane, silaha kando, kabila kando, tutumie kima, tuwajali wenzetu, tudumishe amani na tulete upendo pia na umoja. Wewe tushikane, wewe washikane, ili tuweze kuleta amani hapa nchini Kenya. Wewe tushikane, wanajeshi wote washikane, ili tuweze kuleta amani hapa nchini Kenya. Jina ya God, kupeke yetu hatuwezi na recall, ametutendea more. Sasa hivi tumesongwa na vita, shida, majaribu, matatizo. Kenya ni nchi yetu na sisi ni wa Kenya, tumeijenga kwa siku nyingi, hakuna mkuu kuliko Kenya. So tunataka amani, tunataka upendo, tunataka furaha hapa nchini Kenya. Tunataka amani,
Welcome back to Women's View. Tunataka amani, tunataka upendo, tunataka furaha. Nimesikia vizuri sana.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you are here to bring peace and happiness to Kenya. I think so you are really working for this country, and I'm also came to work for your country. Of course, I feel like I don't know anything about your country, but you know, little by little, I'm learning many things. So because I'm foreigner, so I will be Kenyan soon, but anyway, I'm foreigner, so I'm concerning my pastor, like as a foreigner, maybe you gave us your opinion about politics, but have you ever met politician in any place in Africa?
Of course.
Of course. Of course, okay.
As a pastor, we meet various of people from various age groups, various societies. Yes, I've been involved with many spiritually fellowshipping with politicians.
Oh.
Also, I work for IYF. It's called International Youth Fellowship. And we are youth organization to build up leaders of tomorrow. So therefore, it is emphasizing on teaching the minds of youth. Like I was saying, there can be a leader of a country aging 50, 60, 70, but with the mindset of a youngster. There can be a youngster who's aging only 20 and 30, but can have a mindset of a leader. So therefore, we believe that youngsters, it's not the age that really matters, but one's mind, how strong, how ready they are.
So I think our thinkings are same, right?
Sure.
Age is not important.
So that's why what we will do. So each year we host a forum in our organization. So we invite from different leaders from different countries.
Where did you have a forum?
Oh, it's in South Korea.
Okay.
So I was just coming back from that trip from South Korea, actually. So we had over about 20 different countries partaking, and we invite the ministers of youth of each country to come. And the first week, what we do is that allow them to have a chance to meet with the students from Korea to share their point of view. And then through the experience that they had for 4 days, they will collect the ideas of youth, and they'll present them the last day to find a way, a solution, because a youth problem is a global issue.
So do they get chance to talk freely in this forum about youth?
Actually, the ones who talk freely is our students, and the ones who organize to think how they will put into this into a system where they can really help the youth is the ministers who now organize, and then they give their point of view at the end.
So like do like African ministers also they participate?
Yeah, actually minister from Kenya also came.
Oh.
And also the PS also came, and from various countries.
So maybe you could have chance to talk to them nicely. Do they have any, like, frankly speaking, as youngsters, we think maybe we are disappointed in politics, you know, because youngsters, if they lose, if they lost any, you know, faith, and next time they don't believe, because you know matured people, even though they're disappointed again, they try to know. But youngsters are like, once disappointed, forget it, I will find another thing. They are like that. So what I want to know is, do they really have a heart toward the young people? What they want to do, not like outwardly. What they want to do for, you know, you talk about mindset. What they want to do. Did you talk about
actually, for example, where I come from, Korea, it is a country with about 5,000 years of history. And what we are trying to do in our country, the most important thing is not to lose the heritage of our forefathers, but yet going to develop a better country in technology. But we should not forget what we have gone through. But what these days youngsters are forgetting is that myself also, I know what problems my parents have gone through or my grandparents have gone through. To compare that experience, no matter how much I feel difficult today, I cannot compare the difficulties that they have faced when they were my age. So this will differentiate my way of thought and their way of thought. I don't disagree with the youngsters being leaders. I really think it's a good idea, it's a good approach, and I believe that youth should be involved to fulfill their dreams, to have hope, and to really change our society. But one thing we should not forget is that we need to also be open to hear and also to know, to hear from the difficulties that our forefathers have gone through. And these experience, no matter how much I say I have gone through the same difficulties, but their understanding and our understanding is quite different.
Oh. Now relating just what you said to politics, do you think like those who are actively involved, the old people actively involved in politics, do you think their mindset, what they think the solutions are to the politics that are there in the countries, do you think that is what will solve the politics in the country? Or if a youth comes in with a fresh mind, fresh ideas, they can be able to change things?
I don't think it's the old or the youth. I believe it's
the experienced, or
I can say that more than experience is one's heart. When a leader comes to his position, I don't look at just now we have done this or that. We will face problems. We will face difficulties. So what we want to do is that a country cannot be without a problem. A person cannot be without a problem. So when they do face these problems, there must be a mindset how they will overcome, how they'll engage, how they'll guide. So that's what so whenever we see leaders today, there's many lobbies that we see, there's many stories that comes up paper. But now when we judge, I'm not a politician, so we judge them, they're doing good, they're doing what we judge is not what he has done wrong. I believe those who have power, those who have things, they can play around. But when these things are revealed, you see that, I'm sorry to say, a former president of Korea committed a suicide.
That is very shameful story.
Because
actually.
he was being pulled down to a certain issue about his giving money to his children, buying a house abroad. So these issues were connected. So when the prosecutors came in to investigate his life, eventually he had to end up.
Not accept,
Yes. So I believe that the problems are not the youth or the old. It is that do we have the minds to guide this country?
Strong mind.
And when the problems have arrived, are we prepared? I believe that is what we're trying to do, prepare the youth so that they can be ready.
And I think that is just where we are for us as the youth of Kenya. We are saying we feel we are being excluded in the decision-making process.
Yeah, maybe.
We have been excluded in the leadership process. And we are asking, let there be no transgenerational gap.
Oh, you mean they feel like they didn't get any opportunity?
Yes, we feel like we are not in the core, what I call the core in the beginning. We feel, the youth of Kenya, that we are left in the periphery, we are left way back behind, and we have been made to be the people who can only be collected at a time when needed, and when the use of us is done,
everything by
we are dumped back to where we belong.
Yeah.
But now we are saying we believe we can participate in nation building of Kenya and realizing Vision 2030. We want to be in the decision-making table. We want to see a young person within the bracket of age 18 to 35, as the Constitution says, being a leader of a ministry, probably the Ministry of Youth, so that we can set forth our agenda.
Like just now we even watched these photos. I will ask you, actually, I was going to ask you something, so don't mind. We even watched the pictures about the forum, as you said. We could see that various countries, ministers, they gather together because, actually youth problem or, politics, it's not just packed in that one country, it's international issue now. So like, do you also think you want to have a relationship with other country, like you want to learn, other countries' good things, and you want to work for Kenya with other country? I mean, you want to have a good relationship with other country. I don't know what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that is very necessary because whenever we rate ourselves on international standards, it challenges us more. Let me also add and say that currently I'm 29 years old, and I always try to measure up myself with other youth who are 29 years around the world. You go through the list of millionaires and billionaires in other countries, you will find people who are 22, 23, upwards. So when I come back to my local scenario, I wonder what is making us, we the youth of Kenya, not get to that point. And the reason is, we may talk about internationally how things have been done, but in our local scenario, where are we at? I'll give an example. When we talk about youth and experience, to Kenya, to a certain degree, I insist the age also has to be included. And I'll give an example. In the last election, His Excellency, the President, made a declaration where he said a third of all government tenders should go to youth-owned companies. Youth-owned means owned by directors below 35 years. Let me tell you, our 10th parliament was formed, and do you know when they debated that to be made a law? In December last year. My question is it 4 years later they are remembering that they are youth in this country? But ask yourself, if there was somebody who was below 35 years in that parliament, wouldn't they have pushed to that?
Very fast.
Point number 2, we have this issue of a third and representation in every elective position, where they say a third has to be of either gender. In all this constitution, I still ask the youth, what is your benefit in it? Our benefits are 2. A nomination at the National Assembly and a nomination at the Senate. What else is there for us? So my question comes in, when the cabinet is formed, come next year, and no youth are represented in that cabinet, do we have a law that protects us? We don't have. How else can we protect ourselves? We need to get into elective positions such that when these appointments are being done, we will ask, oh, by the way, I don't see a youth. So those are the things we're supposed to push for as young people, because we will keep complaining. And I said the youth of Kenya are very patient, but we now need to turn that patience into positive action. And the positive action is getting
patient?
very patient.
Oh, okay.
Because
waited for 50 years.
when we talk of around 75% of our youth don't have jobs, and we have not been doing anything, we've not rioted, which we should never do. It is time we go into, we convert it to positive action and get into leadership positions.
You're talking, she talks about like politics in other countries and like emulating that and making it maybe possible to work in Kenya. I was reading somewhere and looking at the politics in Ghana, you know, their system is a bit too formal. You know, there is a system how you're supposed to follow, the way you're supposed to, let's say, even from campaigning and all that. Look at the politics in America. Everything is so formal. Everything you do is seen. The public is able to see you've done this, and you deserve being there. But now look at the politics in Kenya. If I decide I want to be somewhere, it will depend on how much money I have, how many people I know, and how much influence I have around. Tell me, how many youth have that at hand?
I agree with you that at some point, and especially from my experience of working with a political party, I believe that there is need for us to strengthen politics, or to strengthen the participation of youth in politics from the basis of the political parties, following what the Political Parties Act says, and looking unto the Constitution as the supreme law of this country. And one of the things that I keep on asking is, when the government, at the end of the day, the Treasury gives a budget to political parties, how much percentage of that money that goes to political parties is dedicated into raising leaders within political parties, young leaders? How much money is dedicated towards the youth wing? If you go to most political parties in Kenya today, not even a desk has been dedicated to the youth of that political party, saying you can work and organize yourselves from this space. Then what do we expect? That they will come and be nurtured just out of no space?
And I mean, no place at all. That's where the godfathers come in.
Yeah, it has got to start from the basis of who we are. Like I said, going back to the grassroots, if the grassroots of politics in Kenya is political parties, which will look into it as a gateway of getting into political leadership, there has to be a framework, a platform unto which the youth can be engaged. We want to see more young people in the national councils of political parties. We want to see more young people views being in the manifestos of political parties, and we want to see more young people being mentored by those who have either retired in politics or those who are already up above us in politics.
But do you think they have...
This is how to do it.
Sorry.
Just a minute. Okay. But they should not force us. They should not live their lives in us. Because that is the problem that is in Kenya. That a leader looks at you, that's the endorsement you were talking about, and they think, okay, my term is gone. But then I have seen Jane Kagiri is running. Let me try and see if I can put my views and my ideas through her and still continue moving. No, let Jane live her life in politics. And you can only guide her as a shepherd from afar with the staff and say, I think you're going wrong. I think you're going right. And this is the way to move. But let her live her life.
That is why I want to...
Wait, please. You know what? In Korea, like we believe theory of blood. It's out of topic, but you know, those who have the AB type, blood type, they are not interested in politics. You know, they don't want to be politicians, something like that. I myself is like that. I never imagined that I want to work in, you know, government. I never imagined. But after hearing you guys, I want to do something like you know, involve youngsters. Okay, wait. We have a short interview. We'll watch one interview.
Sure. Thank you.
They should just concentrate in other things, because with the old guys we have in government, I don't see them going anywhere. So even if we vote, the elections probably will always be rigged. So really, I don't see the youth making much of a difference. Yeah. I don't think there's the willpower in the public to elect a youth as yet. I've not seen it. Maybe it's there, but I haven't seen it. Because I think the older politicians have money, they have influence, so they'll always get voted in, irrespective of whether they're doing what they're supposed to do or not. Yeah. I think the reason the youth concentrate on jobs is because of the training they get while in school. You are taught to pass exams and get a good job. That's all you know. But if the system would work in such a way that you are told that you can still go through school and get a job. If you don't get a job, you are still empowered to do something for yourself. I think the youth would look at it differently. But with the current education system, I think it's how the system works. You know, it's the syllabus, go through school. We are telling the kids you must get an A to make it in life. So that is all they know, yeah.
So we are talking about youth and, you know, politics, and then I'm waiting for your SMS. Are you sending SMS to us? We really want to continue this topic with these people. And then, you know, as sharing this story with our panels, and I realized that really I have to know something about this country. And as young people, we had to be very strong leaders, right? I can see young leaders, they really work very hard. And Sophie, do you agree with me?
In politics, no.
Why?
Something else,
you know,
but no
in
politics.
that way, even though we don't work like them, you know, outwardly, but through this women's view.
Come on, no, look at them. They're so...
Well, one thing that I want to say again is that I can see that our young leaders today, they won't have a chance to stand up and do something. But also one thing that must be very important is that main focus, is it that the involvement of youth being politics, or do they have something really that they have found that is wrong? Because sometimes we want to have a interest, but it's not the interest that we're looking for. If really the young leaders want to stand up to work for this country, they must have a clear objective of what they're trying to do. But we're looking at right now, the agenda of our issue is that the youth must be there. But to do what? We need the clear objective. But without an objective, it'll be just an over and over again, and eventually.
That exact, you know.
Sure.
But the former leaders will not think that, you know, so what's your point of view? So what exactly? There's a problem of this A, B, C, D. Then what is your how can you solve this? It's not just a position that the youth need in the seat there. There must be a clear reason and purpose for them to be there. I think our discussion must also go in that way, because we need to really emphasize on something, what they can do, and the outcome must be there.
So
we cannot just
very nervous.
we cannot just get a seat there and then just say, I'm here now, youth are overcoming. But then if there's no outcome, it is you know, nothing.
May I state that actually today we have restricted ourselves to the topic of youth, because that is what was the topic of the day. However, even in the elective positions we are seeking for, they are not mainly just to serve the youth. They are actually to serve the whole community. But however, on this program we cannot sit and outline the vision, because we are talking of serving our old-aged parents, serving the community, ensuring there's no longer food insecurity in our areas, ensuring the infrastructure is in place, ensuring that youth unemployment is history in our areas. Those are all things that we are planning to work towards. However, on this particular show, maybe there may not be the opportunity to outline it all. However, I would also want to comment about the issue where we said about youth in political parties. And as we were beginning the show, I remember saying that this is not a journey for the faint-hearted. And in a scenario like in Kenya, we have to work with the reality. The reality is that for you to be a member of a political party in Kenya, you either have the money or you have the following. For young people, we are unlikely to have either of the two. However, I'm saying we pray that
unlikely, we
don't have anyway. However, what I think we need to do as a country is to start maturing politically, to realize that ideas are also a resource. Because just as I stated earlier, when you look at the parties that are excelling, look at the brains behind them. The brains behind them are young people. That is not worth 1 billion. It's not even worth 10 billion. It is worth much, much more. So we need as a country to mature to realizing that ideas are a resource actually.
You know, Lindy mentioned something about like mentors. They need mentors to like usher them like into politics and all that. But I'm looking at a scenario where we have all these, like the guy called them the white-haired people. They've been there. And so far, the youth, they're not seeing anything positive that is coming out of it. Tell me, how will this guy mentor me into politics, into doing good in politics, yet I don't see that in him?
I think what we must look unto also is that, again, not all white-haired are not mentors. Some of us have sat to being where we are today. For me to be the leader that I am today, I have been privileged to sit under the counsel of one of the most wonderful leaders of this country, Honorable Professor Julia Ojiambo, who has served this nation as a politician. And I know that there are many more other able leaders, able men and women in Kenya who are willing to pass on the baton to the youth of this country. There are many other able men and women, elderly, who are saying our time is up. We have got to push on the transition to a new generation of leaders and work together with them. And those are the people that we want to keep on encouraging, to tell them that the youth of Kenya are looking for mentors. The youth of Kenya are willing to listen for advice.
Today, it's very difficult to get a chance to talk before very smart women. Okay, strong. Okay, fine. We have some SMS. I want to introduce the SMS, and then you can always talk. Okay, my name is Amos from Ngong, and I agree that the youth of Kenya must take a serious role from 2012 and beyond to become key players in the management of our mother Kenya. Yes, our mother Kenya. And we have been taken to circus for a long time, and it's a high time we take control of our my Kenya before before it hits the bottom. Bravo, ladies. Yes, bravo, bravo to you. Okay. Shalom, shalom, Lindy. You are a great nation, and your name is great. Minister Edgar, bright morning star. Wow. Wow, they are encouraging you so much. So maybe you are very happy to be here in Women's Review together with us, right?
Thank you.
Because, you know, as I'm doing this program, actually I had like, because I didn't have confidence. It's English, you know, I want to talk in Korean because I'm from Korea. And then, I don't know anything about Kenya. I don't know what to talk. I was thinking like that. But when I, you know, join here, when I talk about this country, when I talk about these people, when I talk about myself, then I could realize that many people who are watching this program, they really share their story. And then it's a very small step, but we can change the world.
Sure.
And as a young people, you are working for, you know, politics. I think our young people, if they will definitely, you know, influenced by you, and they will come for our politics, and they will change this country soon. I think so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think we should also not look at this like it's two generations against each other. In fact, when I sit here, my challenge is greater to the youth than to the older generation. And my challenge is youth, the positions are there. Why don't you get out and get into this position? Because for me, I'll say, as long as I've been going around, the older generation has been very supportive. And what they keep reminding me, it is us who have brought you up, it is us who have nurtured you. We know we have put all the experience that is necessary to you. But the other thing is, when you look at the majority of the voters, they are young people. These are the same people who decide to vote you or vote you out.
Don't you feel very shameful? Because Korean people, we really don't participate. As young people, really, they don't go for vote, you know.
Maybe
And
you
then when we
represented
talk about
well.
experience, I also look at it at another angle. I always wonder, what is this experience that is required for you to know somebody is suffering? I think you just need your eyes to see that this person went without food yesterday. What solution can I come up with? I am enlightened enough to know that ensuring there's water would ensure that this person gets crops in their field. So that's what I'm saying. I think age is necessary, but experience is not also so much to be looked into, because you have the solution.
Okay, so we've been talking about, you know, it's a quite serious matter, because as young people, many people think they don't need to have interest in politics, but surely we can say that we young people really have to know about the politics, and they have to be involved in this politics. It is my opinion. What about your opinion? Don't forget to text 8550. We'll be wait for your text, and then we'll be right back after short break.
Dunia nizamishe ama uniweke niishi peke yangu, kwani ninapomwamini kila binadamu mwishowe ananigeukia. Dunia nizamishe ama uniweke niishi peke yangu, kwani ninapomwamini kila binadamu mwishowe ananigeukia. Nimtazame nani, nimwamini nani? Nani wananigeukia? Vigeugeu, vigeugeu, vigeugeu wananigeukia. Namwamini daktari sana amponye rafiki yangu, anamweka kwenye life support machine, kumbe aliaga ni pesa na kusanya. Mama mzito anamwamini mkunga, mzalishie mtoto baada miezi 9. Mkunga anamgeukia, mtoto anamgeuzia. Nikihaso juu chini ili nivuke boda, wananigeukia. 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 Nimtazame nani, nimwamini nani? Nani wananigeukia? Vigeugeu, vigeugeu, vigeugeu wananigeukia. Nimtazame nani, nimwamini nani? Nani wananigeukia? Vigeugeu, vigeugeu, vigeugeu wananigeukia. Mwanasiasa aliniomba kura, akiniahidi yote tatimiza. Baada ya miaka 5 anarudi na kitambi bila kutimiza. Ninampasta kajirani yangu nilimwamini, kufa na kupona. Nikitoka kwangu naye naingia kuzani na bibi yangu. Nikihaso juu chini ili nivuke boda, wananigeukia. 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 Nimtazame nani, nimwamini nani? Nani wananigeukia? Vigeugeu, vigeugeu, vigeugeu wananigeukia. Nimtazame nani, nimwamini nani? Nani wananigeukia? Vigeugeu, vigeugeu, vigeugeu wananigeukia. Dunia nizamishe ama uniweke niishi peke yangu, kwani ninapomwamini kila binadamu mwishowe ananigeukia. Dunia nizamishe ama uniweke niishi peke yangu, kwani ninapomwamini kila binadamu mwishowe ananigeukia. Bibi yangu kigeugeu, pasta wangu kigeugeu, mkunga kigeugeu, wanasiasa vigeugeu, rafiki yangu kigeugeu, fundi wangu kigeugeu, dereva kigeugeu, kondakta kigeugeu. Bibi yangu kigeugeu, pasta wangu kigeugeu, mkunga kigeugeu, wanasiasa vigeugeu, rafiki yangu
Welcome back to Women's View. We've been talking about youth and politics, and actually I have something to tell you. You know, in Korea, as I said and he said, you know, young people actually, we cannot see young politicians. They're like above 50, 60, like that. If they're 40, we say, oh, very young. So like 20, 30, we cannot even imagine. But you know, we had some problem actually. You know, when they don't like something, you know, a kind of demonstration, old people in capital Seoul, they come out on the street and then with candle. That's it's like a kind of demonstration. So, not demonstration. How do you call that? 시위를 뭐라고?
Demonstration.
Yeah, demonstration, right? Today I don't know. So like all the people are coming out and with candle. You know, it became very issue. I was very shameful because, you know, of course it means they are against toward one decision from government. So they all come out, they stand like this, you know. It's becoming a very big problem. And they fight with policies and some people die, you know. And young people, even teenagers, they all come out. They don't know what is exactly, but they just come out, they just stand. You know, their parents, you know, they worry about them. But you know, like we say, young people should know, they participate, but without knowing anything, without have any experience, they just follow, you know, current trend, you know. I'm worrying about it.
For your country, I think it's good they come out with candles, as it's a bit too violent than that, which I think is okay. But you know, in Kenya, when people look at a politician, you just see this greedy, only self-centered person who will only go just for his own good. And I think that's why people, when they look at politics as a whole, they think of it as just an individual's thing. And I don't know whether it's just my perception or what. Is that really what should be happening? Like, even if we're electing someone, how should we know who to elect? What should we look at? Because all of them will come with all these sweet words. They'll be saying all this good stuff about what they would do, what they want to do for you. But of course, when they reach there, just like the other guy sang, they just geuka. They don't
that
do
is
them.
changing. Because even as I go around and talking to people, you realize Kenyans are also wisening up. It's no longer about what you tell them. It's now all changed to they want to hear. What is it that you know about our problems and what are you going to do about it? They need hope, they need action, and that is what they are insisting on listening to. The other thing, even as we keep talking about our candidature, we're also reminding people we want to change the leadership from being the kind of leadership we've had to being accountable leadership, whereby I even derive pleasure in when I walk around the streets and somebody stops me to ask me, Jane, now that you've told us you're going to do this, what will you do about it the next and the next thing? So I realize, let's not underrate and think people are not awake this time. They really are. Any leader who thinks you will go to tell people just what you think, they will be in for a rude shock. This time they're ready and they're waiting.
Because as Noah said, people just follow the trend, and like the youth who follow the trend, we just want to follow what they do. So if I see they're doing that just for their own good, that's what I'll go in with. I'll just, if I need this, I need this, so let me come in this way because I saw him do that and he became this. So if I am to enter politics, maybe my mindset would just be the same. So what mindset should the youth have, if at all they want to enter in politics by themselves?
You know, I think not only young people, in old politicians also, they should have a strong mind, as the pastor said, you know. Even human beings are same. I feel like that Kenyan, Korean, you know, American, they are all same. If you mentioned that they are greedy, you know, politicians are greedy. Some, not everyone. Some are greedy. They really not concern their country. They just concern their own, you know, satisfaction. But human beings are all same. But how we lead them with strong mind, because even youngsters, not only old people, even they have their greedy heart. But if we change that, their enthusiasm or their energy to the sound mind, then they will be good leaders. I really want to, you know, encourage youngsters through this program to be a good leaders. And then actually we, as he said, he's International Youth Fellowship, that group also they're working for that. So we are going to have a camp soon, end of this month. That camp, we will invite all the youngsters. The time those youngsters, they will learn strong mind, and they will be strong, elders. And when they become strong elders, they will definitely work for this country, and this country will be changed soon, before 2030, right? So now, like ending of this program, I want to give you the chance to say last word, especially for young people.
For me, my last word to the young people of Kenya will be that I do not believe we are the leaders, only the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of today. And being the leaders of today, each one of us have got to come with that individual vision of saying, how can I make a difference in my community? The moment that we can say, how can I? What can I do for Kenya? What can I do for my little ward? What can I do for my county? The moment we bring it back to the I perspective and seeing ourselves as participative in leadership, then we start making a change. We shouldn't wait and push the back and imagine somebody else will do it. It has got to be we. It has got to be I. It has got to be me making a difference. And I'm glad I'm counted to be amongst those making a difference. I pass the challenge to the rest of the youth in Kenya. Make a difference wherever you are, and Kenya will be better.
Yes.
My last word is, I would first request all the young people to get out there, pick their voters' cards, ensure you have your ID cards when registration comes on. And please, let's not avoid voting, because whatever you vote for is what it's your future you're voting for. After elections, we all sit to complain. However, it is us who are voted in the kind of leadership we get. Point number 2, let's go for issue-based leaders. Let's not listen to a leader who is telling you about whoever or whoever. Your life that is not merited on how that person's life is. So let's seek for issues and go about issues in the leaders we are going to elect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Because I can see you here, maybe we Kenya have a future and hope, right?
We do.
Pastor, you came here for working youth, as you said. So I really want to request the last word toward our youth.
Well, I would like to say that youngsters are our treasure. So most of the population in most of African countries, 67% are youth. So I hope that the youngsters, they need to partake in many things, especially in politics. It's good to see that youngsters grow up, give their ideas and change the society. But one thing that we should not forget is that it is a tough road. So what I mean by a strong mindset is that it's not necessarily experience, but youngsters, it's much more than what we think it is out there. So I hope that our students don't forget to have hope, and continue hoping, and also have an aim, and know how to overcome it, and so that we can make a better society today. So I would like to say, don't lose your aims, and keep hoping, and go for your goals.
Okay, Besta, thank you so much. Sophie, you have something to say?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, if I didn't give you, maybe you will cry.
I'm not interested in politics. That's
Wow. That means you did very good job, because she really, she didn't want to have any interest in politics. You did a very good job, even you involved me too. Okay, thank you so much for being with us with Women's View. I'm very happy to hear your story, and then happy to hear, happy to talk about your country, our future. Really, we have a hope toward our future, because we have youngsters that will be very good leaders of this country. So if you are parents, why don't you enter your children's room and you talk your heart and you share your heart? If you do that, your children will definitely learn from you how to share heart with other people too. So if they have open-minded, Kenya, we really have a hope toward the future. So we'll talk about this youngsters matter even tomorrow. If you are a youngster, you should not receive only things from elders. You have to acquire something. So I really want to talk about challenge about youth. Maybe you can do something for your country and your family. Thank you for being with us, and have a blessed day.
Nakushukuru we who's away.